What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So we just got some new cards announced in Phantom Nightmare as well as Terminal World that are definitely worth covering. So yeah, I will be checking out all these cards in this video. But before we go any further, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. There you go, my man. I love you. And now let's proceed. So the first card is Dark Guardian. I've already kind of made a shorts on it. So it is a card that we had to wait like almost 20 years for. It's actually insane. Level 12, Dark Warrior, very big stats, and it's always treated as a Gate Guardian card, so it should be easy to search. Can be normal summon or set, must be special summon either with Dark Element, or as an inherent summon from your hand or grave, by shuffling back each of the Gate Guardian components into the deck from among your face-up cards on the field, hand, graveyard, or face-up banished. So it shouldn't be too difficult to summon, but still, you have to play a lot of Garnets in order to make it work, so that's not ideal. It cannot be destroyed by battle, which is nice. But good luck running over this in battle because it's gigantic. And to make matters infinitely better, this card, special summon with Dark Element, is unaffected by other monster effects, including continuous effects, and your opponent's activated spell effects. So cards like Lyre of Darkness will still allow the opponent to tribute over this card because it is a continuous effect. Same thing with Rika Konkon. So yeah, this card does have some flaws and it doesn't like interrupt the opponent. It's just like a big boss monster that's really annoying to out, but it still loses to like one imperm, which is kind of funny. And another thing is, yeah, this card regardless, even if it was unaffected by card effects and undestructible, it would still lose out to Underworld Goddess. So it's getting more and more acceptable for Konami to print out cards that are undestructible and unaffected by card effects. It's getting almost to a point where it's fine. Anyways, now we've got Dark Element. Normal spell card, you can only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. If you have a Gate Guardian monster in your grave, pay half of your life points, special summon 111 or a higher Gate Guardian monster from your hand deck or extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. So again, you could have like, you could literally play a package where you only play these two cards, and if you have like one of this in the grave and you draw this, you just activate it and then summon, yeah, you summon another one actually directly from your... Wait, hold on a second. Gate Guardian monster from your hand deck or extra deck. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. I just realized that. Because in my head, like, you're just trying to summon this card. Because, again, it's always treated as a Gate Guardian card. But yeah, that's not too bad. So this card is definitely really cool. I actually kind of like it. Anyways, you can banish this card from your grave. Add one of your Gate Guardian components, actually, that is banished or in your deck. Or in your deck to your hand. Okay, yeah, it's definitely not too bad. I mean, it's a card that does two things, and we can always appreciate that. So yeah, it's cool support, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's maybe not super great at the moment. Anyways, we've got some new Ghoti cards, and by the way, if anyone tells me that the correct way to pronounce this is fish, you're getting blocked. Alright, Haze of the Ghoti. Yes, water fish, level 2, 0 attack, 1500 defense, big boy. You can only use all 3 effects once per turn, Jesus. If you control a fish monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I don't know, like it's almost like looking like you're trying to play this in like as an engine in Sprite. Anyways, if a monster special summon to your opponent's field, you can target one of them and one of your banished level 6 or lower fish monsters. Banish both that opponent's target and discard, and if you do special summon the other target. Yeah, clearly this card's really good. Definitely this is the Ghoti support that the deck asked for. During the standby phase of the next turn after this card was banished, you can special summon this banished card. There's like no reason for me to read this effect because every single Ghoti monster has this, so yeah, whatever. Alright, Moonlight of the Ghoti, Waterfish, level 6, speaking of the devil, because this is a banished level 6 or lower fish monster. By the way, this card is not a tuner, very interesting, and this card is also not a tuner, so they don't really work well with each other. Anyways, this card right here, level 6, you can only use both effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one fish monster from your deck to your hand, any of them except itself. Wow, that's crazy. Some fish monsters that you can search are actually kind of nasty. Like, there's the sharks, and then there's the deep sea coelacanth, stuff like that. So that's actually nuts. Then banish one fish monster from your hand or face of field. Yeah, this is not really a drawback because all of the Ghoti monsters, they're kind of like, I don't know how to say it. They're kind of, shit, what's the deck again? Metaphys? Yeah, they're kind of like that. You know, you banish them and they do something. Which is always special summon themselves next standby phase. If this card becomes banished, you can banish one fish monster from your hand, face of field, or graveyard, except itself, special summon this card. What I find funny is that this deck would actually be like broken in a format where everybody plays Shifter and stuff like that. Because Shifter, if anything, actually helps this deck. Like literally, like you want your cards to get banished. Because it's not necessarily when they get banished by card effect. It's just when they get banished, period. It's actually insane. Yeah. So it's a shifter deck, but it's ass. That's the thing. Again, it's always the same thing with shifter decks. They're always really, really bad. Kashtira, Flunderies, and Exorcister may be being the best, but they're still not super great. Anyways, now we've got another fishy support card. Level 4 Fire Fish Synchro Tuner, generic. You can only use both effect once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can special summon 2 Lamp tokens. Fire Fish, level 2, 0 attack, 0 defense. Also, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except fish monsters. That's kind of sus, yeah. If you control a fish synchro monster, you can banish this card from your grave and then target one card on the field, destroy it. So obviously this card is good, but like it locks you under fish only. And fish monsters are pretty bad. Like, they're very under-supported and underdeveloped. Like, we don't have a lot of good fish that you can summon. So yeah, it's shit. Like, if it was like under water only or something, first of all, it would make no sense because this is a fire fish. How can you be a fire fish? Anyways, thinking, yeah, at least like you would be able to make like, I don't know, Bahamut Shark, Toad and stuff like that, but you can't. So yeah, in other words, this card is dog shit, even though it's not too bad. These two cards are fine, definitely not bad, but like in a really bad deck. And then these cards are whatever, but this is where it gets very interesting, Bernard. So now we got some new Genex support in Terminal World, and you're gonna have to bear with me because nobody really knows anything about Genex because it's never been good. There's only been like 2 good Genex cards in like the history of the game, I think, maybe 3. Yeah, like there's like a level 4 that's decent, and then there's Genex Ally Birdman, which led to like FTKs and degenerate things. And I think the theme of the Genex cards is looping things over and over and having a bunch of attributes because, yeah, you've got like water, dark, earth, fiend, fire, sorry, stuff like that. Yeah, you got everything. Anyways, Arms of Genex return 0, level 10, Dark Machine Synchro. But yeah, again, very big boy, gigantic stats, ridiculous, 1 Dark Tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. Alright, hopefully this card's nice. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, so from anywhere, you can banish 1 monster from your graveyard with the same attribute as that monster that your opponent activated, but a different one than those banished to activate this effect of this card's name this turn. So in other words, this card is not once per turn. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So just to sum it all up, this card could theoretically negate 6 monster effects in 1 turn. Granted, you have 6 monsters in your graveyard with different attributes, and your opponent is using 6 monster effects with different attributes. It's never gonna come up, but it's actually very funny if it does come up because this is one of the most unique negation effects I have ever read in my entire life. Being able to technically negate 6 monster effects if you've got all the attributes and if your opponent is playing all of them. Definitely very, very interesting. I don't necessarily know if I want to say that it's good because I think in the Genex deck, the best attributes are Dark and Water. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they are because you got Genex Undyne, which is extremely good, and then you got maybe Light could be decent and Wind. Whatever. Anyways, once per turn, you can target up to 6 of your Genex monsters with different attributes that are banished and or in your grave. Shuffle them into the deck, then you can destroy up to that many cards in the spell and trap zone. It doesn't target when it destroys spells and traps, so that is actually kind of cracked, like very good. So yeah, I mean, clearly this card is good, like very clearly, and it doesn't look that hard to summon. You just need a Dark to actually, yeah, Genex Controller at least is your Dark Tuner, but like, I don't know. Anyways, this card right here is a Link 1 monster, so this is where it might potentially get degenerate. Repair Genex Controller. Again, it looks very similar to Genex Controller, which is pretty much not really the heart and soul of the deck, but it's the main Genex monster that is like mentioned in a bunch of, maybe not in a bunch of cards, but whatever. Anyways, Link 1 Dark Machine, 1 level 4 lower Genex monster. You can only special summon this card once per turn. The first effect is already interesting, right? It's very similar to the Vanquish Soul monster. If this card is Link summoned, you can add 1 Genex monster from your graveyard to your hand. Alright, so that's really cool, but it gets better here. Once per turn, if a Genex monster or monsters is added to your hand, except by drawing it, add it to your hand, not add it from your deck to your hand. So that includes added from your graveyard to your hand. So in other words, the second effect triggers off of the first one. You can, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Genex monster. Also, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except by synchro summoning, using a Genex tuner as a material. You don't necessarily have to synchro summon Genex monsters. You can synchro summon anything, as long as you're using a Genex tuner as a material. So you could technically summon whatever you want and make a lot of negates and stuff like that. This is not a once per turn effect. It is not something that you can only gain once per turn. It's not like, what's the name? Gem Knight, Seraphinite, or Double Summon and stuff like that. It's rather like the true Draco spell cards. So if, you know, you can use like the Disciples for an extra normal. You can use Heritage to like immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon. So it's the same thing with this one. You could technically, theoretically, normal summon infinite times in one turn with this card, if you can find a way to consistently recycle back cards over and over. So clearly this card is very powerful. I just have to like figure out some combos with it, because the Genex cards are not really good. The deck is extremely old, but this is such a ridiculously unfair Link 1 monster that there might be a world in which the old Genex cards could still become playable. Anyways, now we've got a water monster. Oh, real Genex Undyne. I think the first thing that comes to your mind is, well, now we're no longer trying to send Atlantean Dragoons with Undyne and only play it in Mermails, because that was like the only application for this card. Now we're actually trying to send Genex cards with Undyne, which is very funny because, again, the card is not Neptabis Undyne, but rather Genex Undyne. So yeah, this is the new good card to send, in other words. Level 4 Water Aqua, 1700 attack, 1100 defense. Once per turn, you can banish one Genex monster from your grave. This card gains that monster's attribute. Then, if you banish the tuner to activate this effect, you can treat this card as a tuner until the end of this turn. This is like the ultimate copycat. This copies every characteristic of your Genex monster. That's nuts. If you... Okay, yeah, this effect is ridiculous. Okay, I can't believe I'm about to read this. Because keep in mind that this is not once per turn, okay? You could theoretically use this effect 3 times in one turn. If you control a Genex Synchro monster, you can target 2 Genex monsters in your grave, including this card, add them to your hand, also banish any card sent to your graveyard for the rest of the turn. Again, this card is not once per turn, so if you stack your graveyard with 3 copies of this card first, and 3 other Genex monsters, you could recycle back 6 cards with this, and then you get locked under being shifted yourself, which is fine if you can synchro summon 67 times because you keep normal summoning again and again and again and again, so that's actually kind of filthy. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous, so yeah, it looks, this card looks cracked. Again, every single card so far looks extremely good. Very, very good. But now we've got a 4th and final one, which is the real Genex Turing. Level 2 Dark Spellcaster Tuner. You can only use the first effect once per turn. During your opponent's main phase, if you control a Genex monster quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon one Genex Synchro monster. My issue is that they're giving legacy support for Genex, but they're not giving it like a new good synchro monster outside of this one. That doesn't look that easy to, well, to be fair, I might have said this too early because it does have a very neat effect. If this card on the field is used as a synchro material for a Genex monster, it can be treated as a level 1 or 3. This is one of those very unique tuner monsters that is either a level 1, 2, or 3 monster. So if you've got a 9, 8, or 7, then you know that you can quick sync into this and get yourself a couple of negation cards, negation effects for free, basically. So that's really nice. I want to see in this deck having the Water, Dark, and probably, I don't know, is there another one? Yeah, Water and Dark negates are the easiest ones because, again, you got Undyne and Real Undyne, and then you've got Genex Controller. I don't know what the hell this is. Yeah, like I said, some of them are good. Like, okay, yeah, Genex Ally Birdman. Yeah, that's nice. I don't even know if the Genex Ally Birdman is good in the Genex deck, though. I'm gonna have to check. Probably, though. Yeah, definitely, because with a Birdman, you bounce back, and then it's added to your hand, and then you extra normal summon. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Holy shit. Okay, yeah. I absolutely cannot wait to make combos with the Genex deck, because it looks extremely fun. So, yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts about these cards, but I actually think they're ridiculously overpowered, and with the right deck building, and with the right wheel, we might be able to make some insane boards turn 1 with this deck. Anyways, that's all I had for this video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.